Today, obviously, you're conducting the Black Sea Eurasia Ambassadors Conference here at EUCOM. During your testimony to Congress and the Senate, you talked a great deal about the whole of government approach. Is this conference an extension of that approach?
It very much is, Michelle. What we're trying to do here at U.S. European Command is create an environment in which our command focuses on interagency, working with all of our partners, but principally State Department, USAID, and then all the rest of the interagency. We couple that with our natural partnerships in the international realm because we're forward deployed here in Europe. And then thirdly, we're actually reaching out into the private sector and looking at how we can work with private-public kinds of linkages, for example, with humanitarian organizations. So I would say this Black Sea Conference, which brings together ambassadors from 8 nations that surround the Black Sea, including Russia, Turkey, Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova, and so forth, is a real opportunity to practice what we preach.
And keeping on that same topic, what are some of the important issues that you're focusing on for the Black Sea Eurasia region?
Well, Michelle, first of all, we're very focused on the flow of illicit traffic, and that could include narcotics, weapons of mass destruction, arms, as in weapons, as well as human trafficking. So this flow of illicit traffic is something that crosses the Black Sea, and we're working very much to understand that flow and see how we can be helpful in interdicting it. Secondly, we look very much with several of these partners at how they can work with us in Afghanistan. Romania, Bulgaria, NATO members who are sending troops into Afghanistan. And here I would particularly underline a nation that is not a NATO member but is a close friend of the United States, the Republic of Georgia. It's going to send a reinforced battalion into Afghanistan, and when they do that, they will become the largest per capita contributor of troops in Afghanistan. So we're looking at this illicit trafficking, we're looking at support to our forward operations in Afghanistan, and then thirdly, we're very interested in missile defense. In fact, I just broke from the conference where we were having a lively discussion on how we can partner with nations in the region to construct a missile defense system against the Iranian potential missile program. So we already have commitments from Romania and from Poland to be part of this phased adaptive approach of the missile defense system, and we're talking to some of these other partners who are here at this Black Sea Conference. So there are a lot of topics, but there are 3 that I think are particularly important: the illicit trafficking, the work in Afghanistan, and missile defense.
Hey, speaking of Afghanistan, can we talk a little bit about the current ground campaign there and how
Sure.
that will affect the ability of the United States and NATO to move forward in that country?
Well, I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing at the moment in Afghanistan. In fact, the phrase I use right now is I'm cautiously optimistic. We are moving in a very focused manner into southern Afghanistan, which has been for a great deal of time the heart of the insurgency. We started by going into a town called Marja, which is in between Helmand and Kandahar, and that has gone extremely successfully. We had about 10,000 troops involved in it, about half of them coalition troops and about half of them Afghan troops. A lot of people don't realize that we're really achieving a balance between U.S. and Afghan forces in terms of level of effort, and in fact today the Afghans are taking about 75% of the casualties. So Marja has gone extremely well. President Obama spoke about this when he went to speak to the troops just a couple of days ago. And now we are shifting our focus in southern Afghanistan to Kandahar, which is a big town, almost 1 million people. It's proximate but located a bit off-center from Marja, which is a smaller, more rural environment. Kandahar is a more urban setting. And again, we're bringing a very balanced level of effort between coalition troops, Afghan troops, and in fact Afghan police. And I would say that the Kandahar campaign, which is just now beginning to unfold, will be very pivotal. And I would say that Marja went very well. We learned some lessons. We're going to try and apply those in Kandahar. And as this year goes forward, I think this will become a very important time in the campaign.
What kind of progress are we making also on the political and social fronts?
Well, I think we're making reasonable progress across the spectrum of what I like to call the comprehensive approach, which is security, governance, and the economy. You really have to kind of do all those things together. back to what we talked about a moment ago, the interagency approach. In the end, governance and the economy are going to be the responsibilities of our civilian partners in this enterprise, both U.S. interagency actors like the State Department, like the USAID, but also our international partners. I'll give you a concrete example of this. NATO, which of course has a wonderful general who's directing operations there, General Stan McChrystal, who happens to be from the United States, but he's a NATO general. NATO has just now appointed a NATO senior civilian, and Ambassador Mark Sedwell from Great Britain, to be a civilian partner. So the two of them are partnering together to try and bring balance to this civil-military approach. So Ambassador Sedwell, for example, is focusing on the PRTs, the Provincial Reconstruction Teams. General McChrystal, of course, is focusing on the combat operations and the training operations. All those things have to fit together. In terms of governance, I'm very encouraged because I see coming up this spring two big events. One is going to be the so-called Peace Jirga. A Jirga in Afghanistan is a gathering of elders, wise men and women, who come together to discuss a particular issue. There'll be a Peace Jirga organized by the Afghan government. That, I think, has potential to be a very successful step forward in this governance process. Secondly, there'll be the Kabul conference, which will bring together international donors, international country actors will come together in Kabul to put together a program in place that focuses on governance, the economy, and reconstruction. So I think there's progress to report. I do want to say, Michelle, there are challenges ahead. This is going to be a hard year. We have more troops in combat. We will see high casualties, especially as the spring and summer goes on. So we've got a lot of work ahead. But compared to where we were a year ago, I feel more confident and, again, as I said up front, cautiously optimistic.